Heads of State is out on Amazon Prime, new action comedy from director Ilya Naishuller, who previously made Hardcore Henry and Nobody. This stars Idris Elba, John Cena, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Paddy Considine, Carla Gugino, Stephen Root, and Jack Quaid. Cena plays an American president who has just recently been elected into office after a successful career as an action movie star in Hollywood. He's popular and well-meaning, but inexperienced and foolish. Elba is the British Prime Minister, grizzled veteran, 6 years in the office, much more serious about his job and sort of looking down on Cena. Their first in-person meeting ends in an argument, and to alleviate it, they agree to travel together to a NATO summit on board Air Force One. And when the plane gets shot down over Belarus, they have to learn to work together and become actual action heroes in order to survive and then stop a dangerous plot to undermine NATO as a whole. So, as you may guess from that description, it is a silly movie. And I have to say, in terms of the experience, it was a real mixed bag for me, because on the one hand, you have greatly choreographed and shot action sequences which are genuinely fun and exciting. You have good chemistry between the leads, who are enjoyable together, as we already knew from their time on The Suicide Squad, which I definitely recommend. You have funny humor, but then you also have the plot, which is my main source of concern. Now, hear me out. I knew going into this film that it was going to be stupid, okay? I can shut off my brain and just enjoy a movie like this, no problem. But then the first 30 minutes or so wasn't actually that funny. It was more of a straight action movie in terms of the tone. And then the film started doing some even heavier stuff, like there's a subplot about the main bad guy's son being killed in an unauthorized secret NATO strike because they wrongly assumed that he's building a nuclear weapon. So you raise a really interesting point about oversight and the ethics of that, and who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. There's the main conflict about sort of becoming about NATO secrets being exposed and revealed, about how all the nations are secretly spying on each other and influencing each other's politics, which is again a very interesting conflict to raise without an easy resolution once that cat is out of the bag. Then there's the Air Force catastrophe, where so many innocent characters die, and Cena even sort of makes a point about that it's serious. So you have these things in the movie which make me go, well, this is sort of interesting. My brain is turning on now. I am paying attention and listening to what the film has to say. And that makes me painfully aware of all the nonsense that follows, the logistical plot holes. Like, they're traveling from London to Warsaw and somehow they crash over Belarus. Like, what? How did this happen? Then they travel across multiple European countries in what seems like mere hours without the use of planes. And trust me, that is not possible. There's the scene where they cross the border from Belarus to Poland, which, you know, in real life, this is a border that is very heavily guarded, especially as it is the border of EU with what functionally is Russia light at least. And the movie also alludes to that by mentioning refugee crisis in Poland. And then what happens is the characters hide on a truck with sheep. The driver bribes the Belarusian soldiers with a single sheep to let them through. And then they are not controlled at all by the Polish side of the guards. And then they basically just teleport immediately to Warsaw. That made my brain hurt. And then the way Poland is depicted in general is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is deeply offensive to me as a Polish person. The entire section of the film has shitty old buildings, shitty old offices with communism era furniture, old technology, badly maintained infrastructure, old train that the characters get on. My friends, Poland is an incredibly modern nation. In fact, after visiting the U.S. a few years back, I would argue we are more modern than the USA. Yet here it's depicted as some sort of derelict, soft, sort of shit post-Soviet state, and that made me a bit upset. Now, again, you can counter all of that with, it's a silly action movie, let it go. To which I again say, I was prepared to do so until the movie itself started to become too clever for its own good. It needlessly introduces a pretty well thought out, serious conflict into a simple, stupid film. and then even resolves that conflict very poorly. Somehow, at the end, all is good in the world because the two main characters kicked some ass. So it was a very strange experience for me. So can I say it was a good movie? No, sadly not. I can't. But it isn't exactly bad either. It's weird. It almost feels like it would be great if it leaned in fully into the comedic aspect and just be 100% silly. But yeah, it didn't do that. So mixed bag for me.